long, lonely nights. A lot of people don't like nights, do they? It's a bit too quiet, a bit eerie. You hear every noise in the night. If you live alone, it can be a little bit worrying at some points. No, I used to like nights. When I was younger and fitter, I was in the police in central London, and nights was my favourite shift, funny enough. So I used to have a few drinks in the morning, and I got back at 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. And I slept really, really well during the day. But when you're an alcoholic, and you live on your own, as I did, in a filthy apartment, as I did, with rats often floating about, with no hot water, no heating, at the bottom of the bottle, the nights become torturous. My routine during the day would be to wake up when I woke up, feeling terrible. Drink before I managed to get the taxi to the pub, stagger into the pub. I think my body was so sensitive to alcohol then, even if I just had a couple of drinks, I was swaying in the wind, as it were. I lost a lot of weight, but the nights I used to find terrible. At this point I had no TV. I couldn't bear getting people out to the flat to get anything fixed. I only had one light bulb in. If you notice, there's candles now. I've sort of got used to candles and ambient light over the years, although I'm sober now, I've been sober 5 years. So I'm just going to take you through one night. I remember this in particular because it was about 6 months before I actually rang 999 and got myself admitted to hospital. It must have been a Saturday night because I used to listen to the radio, as I said, I didn't have TV. I'm sure I picked up Talk Sport or something like that. So at night, if you're an active alcoholic, you don't sleep. I used to just sit up and sip beer in the house, or in the apartment, thinking, where's my life gone? Where is my life gone? Why has it turned out like this? I know now. However, lonely nights and heavy hearts is what I would call it, because you think about the people you've let down, your family. And I felt terribly concerned that my late father was let down because he died 3 years ago. When he saw me in this terrible state I was in 7, 8 years ago, it must have been so, he's annoyed really, and disappointed, and it's horrible for a parent to see their child obviously to go through this sort of thing. So at night I'd be left with my only friend, the drink, and the old rat, of course, which is dangerous to live with, but that's a different story. So I'm in this apartment, the radio on, midnight, and I guess at 1 o'clock, you're just sitting, just tortured out your mind, worrying why this has happened to you, trying to, think at which point did you become an alcoholic, why did it get a grip of you and not somebody else, and as I said, all the people you've let down. I find a lot of alcoholics are quite caring people, and I think the worry affects obviously the mental health, and that's when the alcohol kicks in. The anxiety for me became horrendous. All these different things, thoughts go through your head. Everybody has maybe difficulty sleeping or getting to sleep at night. You're not relaxed, you're not at peace, you're just fighting with the alcohol all the time. I remember this particular night, I thought I hadn't eaten for about a week. I got about 4 o'clock in the morning. I thought I'll go in the kitchen, and somebody delivered me some food or dropped some food off. I remember there was some cheese. I never forget the night. I found this radio station. I found this program started about 5 a.m. It was called Tight Lines. It was about fishing. And I don't know why that sticks in my mind, but I used to go fishing when I was a kid. I thought, oh, this is quite interesting. Because when you're in active alcoholism, anything positive that you can latch onto is good. So I had some black pudding, would you believe, and some cheese. So I'll fry this black pudding in this cheese, not the cheese, I'll fry the cheese, and make like something salty, something tasty, because you lose all your, you sort of don't feel like eating, your appetite's gone really. So, your taste buds are all affected and all this sort of thing. So I fried this black pudding, I cut into little pieces, just like tiny little pieces like that. And I put them on cocktail sticks. I just remember the detail incredible, because I was listening to this program about tight lines. And I had them. And I thought, well, at least I've had something. Then I'm 6'3", I went down 9 stone. And about an hour later, I was so violently sick, you wouldn't believe it. I was coughing up blood and all sorts, bile, blood, the whole lot. My system just can't take much more of this at all. It was just breaking down. And I sort of laid down and my head was spinning a little bit. Not because of the alcohol, I was just in such a mess mentally, I think, as well as physically. And the night times were always after that something I worried about, and I'd get the taxi home at 11, and I thought, God, it's going to be a long night. It's a long night on your own, but all you've got is yourself and the drink. And just to sort of sit and listen to the radio. It was in your 50s, when I had a successful life prior to this. I mean, I'm doing it right now, don't get me wrong. However, at the time, when I was completely done in, I didn't realise I was getting depressed. I had no assistance for that, really, because I only mentioned it once in the hospital, and I didn't get any follow-up to that. So you've got to watch out for this thing. You've got to be aware that it wants to take your life. If you get to the point I was at, very lucky to be alive. So please, if you can cut down a bit, if you can stop, look at it as a serious illness, because it is a serious illness. And a number of people have said to me, oh, there's drugs and alcohol. There's no difference. It's just drugs. You're on a drug, you're a drug addict. You're not an alcoholic, you are a drug addict. Simple as that, a drug addict. When you get that into your head, then it's serious stuff, isn't it? And don't leave it too late, because it was nearly too late for me. And I had years of living like that, long, lonely nights. And you don't look forward to anything. So this fishing program really sort of perked me up. But it's only a minor little thing. I just wanted to describe one night, and I thought, you know, a 24-hour period seemed to last for weeks. Now, because I'm busy, I've got a new partner, I'm driving again, I'm traveling around and doing this and trying to help people. My life's much better, and time flies by, and it's great. There is hope. That's what I'm trying to say. You can be so ill that you can't walk, but if you are determined enough, and you're determined to keep off the drink, you'll get there. You will get there, and you won't have any dark, lonely nights again, because you'll have something to look forward to the next day. The thing is, when you're on your own and you're lonely and you're depressed, there's nothing to look forward to. I didn't even look forward to having a drink. The only reason I had a drink was to try and make me function, because I'd gone past the point of functioning alcoholic. I wasn't even functioning. I was a pathetic drunk, basically, as my dad used to call it. Drug addict. That's what I was, a drug addict. And the fear of relapse now scares me to death. And it would kill me. So if you're at the point where you've been off for a while, you know, you've got to push through and take one day at a time, because I was speaking to a chap the other night, 22 years off, one drink at a party, 6 months later he was in hospital, because your body can't take it. Psychologically you can't take it either, because it does affect your mental health. So get yourself some help. Get yourself doing some research. Get yourself sober by whatever means. And just one thing I want to interject here. When I was in hospital and had all these symptoms and this and the other, the first few months, all the doctor said was, don't have a drink. Nobody told me how to stop drinking. Nobody said, this is what you've got to do. They just said, stop drinking, otherwise you'll die. It's as simple as that. They're so busy in the hospital. You've got to try and do some work yourself, work out what you want in life, have an incentive to stop drinking, or to cut down at least, before it's too late. And it was nip and tuck with me, I'm telling you, nip and tuck. And like I say, focus on yourself, get yourself well, and we'll see you in a few years, hopefully. At the moment though, if you enjoy the channel or you benefit, please subscribe, share the videos to others who may need help. There's a lot of people who need help out there, and I will speak to you all very soon.